Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining me. Having some technical difficulties here. Quite all right, though. It's Happy Friday. It's a gorgeous day here in Wenham. I'm looking at my door. It's going to be 80 degrees later, so hopefully get the kids outside and shake out some of their energy. I hope you're having a really great week. Today, we're going to discuss how to craft a compelling message that takes people from passive to active. This is probably one of the most frequently asked questions I get. Julia, we have an audience, we have an email list. Maybe it's 2,000 people, maybe it's 100 or 500 people on Facebook. We have people that come to our events. We have a little bit of a donor list, but our messages are not resonating. Like, what can we do to get these people to just stop maybe opening the emails, but to actually click and make a donation or sign up for our event or volunteer or whatever it might be. So how to get people from saying, oh yeah, that's really great, that's such a nice story, to I'm going to get involved. I want to make a difference. I want to help in that cause. And I'm not going to say that it's an easy thing to do, but it's certainly doable. And I think there are some quick ways that you can transform your message so that you will get more of your supporters from the passive column into the active column. And then what you do when they're in the active column, that's another whole thing, cultivation, stewardship. So today we're really just going to talk about moving them from sort of A to B. So first of all, a little tough love for you. Your message sucks, probably. I mean, it probably does. I'm not saying that I have the best message in the entire world, but the majority of nonprofit organizations have a long way to go in their messaging. And that's because they are organization centric. They do great work every day. They help hundreds of people or hundreds of animals or save thousands of acres of land or preserve all of these historical sites, whatever it is that they're doing. They are doing fantastic work every single day, and they almost feel entitled to attention and donations. So they almost feel like, well, we're doing such great work. I really don't know why we have to work so hard to get our message out there and to get people to give us money. So for our purposes today, we're going to talk about fundraising, and we're going to talk about getting people to be donors, because using online tools, because that's what I love to do. But of course, there are many other goals and objectives and audiences and things that you could be doing. But for our purposes today, we're going to talk about how and your frustrations around messaging and getting that key message out to your audience. So I'm a firm believer that nonprofits in certain ways should operate like a business, or not really operate like a business, but steal some of the best practices from businesses. You better believe that the good, successful businesses, even the local mom and pop businesses in your area, know who their customer is and what their customer wants. And they don't really care about any other people. They don't care about the other people. So for instance, I was just talking to a client today, and I was talking about this great local grocery store in my area. It's called Henry's. It's in Beverly. And the vibe when you go in there, it's a lot of older people working there. It's some teenagers, but everyone's very friendly. Everyone's very helpful. It's very clean. The shelves are always stocked. You can always ask a question and get what you want. It's just your neighborhood grocery store. It's like an old-fashioned neighborhood grocery store. The prices are more expensive, and that's fine. Because if you want convenience, and if you want to pay a little bit higher price, and if you want that nice kind of vibe, then you're going to go to Henry's. I don't go there all the time, but it's sort of like the Walmart versus the Nordstrom thing. Walmart doesn't care about the Nordstrom customers. The Nordstrom customers are never going to go to Walmart. So you have to get out of this mindset that every single person is going to care about your cause, and every single person is going to give to you just because you do great stuff. That's really not the case. So your message probably sucks. Your message is probably watered down and bland and focuses on everyone and might have a little bit of jargon in it. It might be hard to understand. So working on that first. So Chelsea Clinton had a fantastic quote that I use in a lot of presentations that I really like. And she said that to get people to take action on anything requires you to get them passionately inspired or passionately pissed off. And that's absolutely 100% true. I think we know that. So when I heard it, it was my aha moment to say, that's absolutely right. You can have a wonderful message, a happy message, a heartwarming message, and you can tell great stories. But if you do not passionately inspire someone or get them angry, then they're not going to take an action. So our job in getting new people into the fold, getting more people into the fold, is to grab attention and pique interest. That's what we're doing. We have to grab people's attention, pique their interest, and then we have to sort of bring them into the fold, our organization's fold, and then cultivate them later so they can become donors and move up that donor ladder, whatever that process might be for your organization. So the first step in creating compelling messaging is knowing your audience. I talk about this every time, and I'm probably going to talk about this every single time I talk, because too many organizations, too many of us are focused on way down the road, the tools that we're going to use. We're going to set up a Facebook ad campaign, we're going to set up email marketing, and we're going to hold a gala. Those are just means to an end. Those are not strategies. You have to figure out your audience. Who is your donor? Who are your loyal donors that absolutely love you? And who do you want more of? Who's a joy to call on the phone? Who's a joy to talk to and go visit and have coffee with? And who sends you these great thank you notes? And you might only have a handful of those donors, but you know in your mind who they are. You know your audience, even if you don't think that you do. Just take some time and know and really understand your audience and use their words. Think about some words. So get out a big piece of paper, a whiteboard, use your phone, whatever it might be, and use their words. Why do they give to you? You might have to ask them. You might have to actually ask them why they give to you. What are the reasons that they give to you? What are the reasons they continue to give year after year? Those donors that give you $10 year after year, you want to talk to them. Those donors that give you $1,000, you want to talk to them too. Why do they give to you? Listen to them. Listen to their words, and that will help you craft other messaging so that you can reach that same kind of audience. Don't be worried about reaching everybody. Be worried about reaching the right kinds of people. This strategy will help influence and help make your marketing and your fundraising more effective. Because especially if you're purchasing things like Facebook ads, or you're doing an online fundraising campaign, you're trying to purchase ads in newspapers, whatever you're doing, if you don't know who your audience is and what they read and what they like and what they're about, then it's not going to go anywhere. So be crystal clear on what they say and the words that they use and the terms that they use and why they support you. Why do they keep donating to you year after year? What would it take to get them to take the action you want them to take? So, thinking about some challenges, some obstacles, some barriers that they might have. So what is the action you want them to take? You want them to give you money. If we're talking about someone that maybe is on your email list, we're talking about people that know who you are. That's an important point, actually, that I kind of want to really put a pin in that point. We are not talking about asking money from complete strangers. I'm not talking about setting up a Facebook ad campaign and randomly just asking complete strangers who've never heard of you for money. That strategy rarely works unless you are nationally known, unless you have a celebrity behind you, or unless your issue is in the news all the time and people are talking about it. It's a national disaster, that kind of thing. So I'm talking about people that know who you are. Maybe, they probably don't know your mission statement. They don't have that memorized. But they know who you are, and maybe they like you on Facebook. Maybe they are on your email list. Maybe they've attended an event, and you want to move them from passive to active. So cultivating that interest. So know a little bit about these people. And if you have to do a focus group, or you have to ask them, call them on the phone, take them to lunch, pick their brain, it's fantastic. Donors love to be talked to when they're not being asked for money, honestly, or potential donors rather, because these people are not donors yet. But people love to give advice, and they really are going to want to hear from you more than just once a year when you ask them for money. So Another way to think about messaging before we create the actual message. What do you do best? What is the best thing you do? What are you known for in a good way? And think about benefits and not features. So I'm going to use the example of my client today. I hope you don't mind, Center Street Food Pantry in Newton. You guys are amazing. In terms of benefits and not features. So when people come to the food pantry, yes, they give them food. Okay, they give them food. That's what they do, okay? But the benefit of that, and we started talking about what are the real benefits that this food pantry provides. And some of the fantastic benefits are it gives people less stress. It takes something off their plate that they don't have to worry about, and it makes them go away feeling less stressed. It provides them with dignity, with respect. This is a friendly place, an open place. This is a place that they feel comfortable coming. They don't feel ashamed. There's no stigma. They're not treated like a number. They're not kind of given a bag and thrown out the door. You know, people ask, how was your day? How are you? How are your kids? There's an area for toys and games and homework, and there's a whole children's book area where kids can take out children's books. They even have makeup for people going to the prom that don't have access to makeup. So it's this feeling you get when you go inside, but it's really summed up by they want to alleviate stress from families that are already undergoing enough stress, and they want to do it in a dignified way. And that's the benefit. So it's not the feature, it's not the physical thing of what they do, it's the benefit. So your organization needs to reframe your message in that same way. At the end of the day, what is it that you're doing? The benefits. You're changing lives, you're providing security, whatever it is that you're doing. Thinking about it in that way. Also another question, what sets you apart from your competitors? So we all think we don't necessarily have competitors in the nonprofit space. I would say that everything is a competitor for our attention at least, but for our donations, who else in the area, if you're local or regional or national even, who are your competitors and what sets you apart? So I have done some grant writing for a college access and success program in Boston. Okay, there are probably 30 college access and success programs for underserved populations in the Boston area. It's nothing new. It's nothing particularly sexy. So what sets our program apart? And we constantly are answering that question. And we do it with stories, and we do it with storytelling. And I'm not going to get into all the details about it. But thinking about what sets you apart, just because you help homeless women, there are a lot of other organizations that do that. So what sets you apart? And going back to the food pantry example, what sets them apart is that feeling of family when you walk in the door, that the dignity and respect that they provide. It's a not stressful place at all. And I've been in a lot of those kinds of agencies providing crisis support. And some of those places can be pretty stressful. The waiting room is loud, and there's kids running all over the place, and there's people and barking out orders, and everyone's in a bad mood, and it's dirty and that kind of thing. This is not that place. And I think it's important, I was explaining, and they know this, that it's important to them to really play up that aspect of what makes them so different. And then you'll find your tribe. You'll find those people that the message will resonate with. You'll find those people that want to support an organization like that. It's not going to be everybody, but the people that this message will resonate with will tend to be more passionate and will tend to go from passive to active a little bit faster. So really drilling down on your audience, what they want, why they support you, what kind of language they use, what makes you different, what sets you apart. And then answering this question, which I ask in pretty much every presentation that I ever provide, and certainly every client meeting: what would happen if you closed your doors tomorrow? You need to be crystal clear on what would happen. Maybe the earth would not, maybe, the world's not going to end. Maybe people are not going to physically die. Maybe, it's not going to be something that's incredibly dramatic, but there has to be a reason that you exist, and there has to be a repercussion if your door is closed tomorrow. So you need to be able to tell me and to convey that in your messaging. So getting really crystal clear around your messaging and your audience first, and then the message that's going to take them from passive to active. Also, number two in creating and crafting compelling messaging that takes people from passive to active, considering the channel. What channels are you using to convey this message? Now, a lot of organizations are very small and they don't have a lot of resources, and they can't have an entire storytelling multi-channel campaign on 7 different platforms. But you could repurpose this message across several platforms. Just make sure that you're very consistent with what you're doing. And the way I would advise you to do it is to print out three words that fully convey that message. So dignity, respect, friendliness, or dignity, respect, and calm, relaxation. Whatever it might be for your organization, print those 3 words out, and anytime you send out a communication, or you post on social media, or you send out an email, or you do a video, look at those 3 words. It's a lot like brand voice. It's a lot like being consistent with your brand voice. But I think that all of your messaging needs to take those 3 things into account. It doesn't mean you can't have fun. It doesn't mean you can't, go off message once in a while and have fun. But everything you're putting out there, you have to think about those 3 words, and that's kind of your key message. And then number 3 would be have a call to action in any message that you're putting out there. So your message for donors, you need to have a call to action. You need to create a message that is relevant and timely. And this is where nonprofits really get tripped up, that call to action. Okay, so you have a great story to share. Why do I give to you right now? First of all, why do I give to you and not somebody else? Why am I giving to you right now and not at year end? Or why am I giving to you at year end? What are you doing that's so special at year end that you need this money? You need to be able to convey in your message timeliness and relevancy. Those are the kinds of fundraising messages that really work. So someone's very interested in your organization. Maybe they follow you on Facebook, follow you on Twitter. They get your emails, okay? And your emails have been showing them stories and fantastic results and all of your accomplishments, and they've been following you for a few weeks now, and you really want to turn them into a donor. Why now? What's happening now? Maybe sharing a statistic, or sharing some fun project that you're working on, or something that's coming up that's on the horizon that's going to need some funding. Thinking differently about fundraising messages. We all know no one wants to give to general operating, and that is an extreme problem in the sector, and that's not something I can tackle today. We all know that people don't want to give to fundraising costs. They don't necessarily want to give to events. So finding that relevant, compelling, timely message is certainly challenging, but you are going to move so many more people from passive to active if you have that timeliness, that urgency. That's why if you've ever seen any kind of online marketing seminar or launch or event, everyone has an early bird rate, everyone has a timer, this offer is going to expire. Timeliness and urgency and relevancy, that's what moves people to action. If they think that this offer is always going to be there, they'll be like, oh, I'll think about it later. If you can't make that compelling ask to donate right now, they're going to ignore the email, or they're going to save it for later, or they're going to think, oh, I'll just get another email later. So working on the timeliness, not being afraid to ask for money, not being afraid to ask people to partner in your mission, that is really, really critical. Giving them opportunities to help you build something, giving people opportunities to be a part of something bigger than their own lives, helping them create a meaningful life through giving to your organization That's the goal. That's really important. So I would encourage all of you to grab my freebie this week, which I received some questions about my digital storytelling action plan, kind of the steps last week. So this week, I have a freebie for you that lays out all of the steps, goals, objectives, strategies, message, and key audience, kind of in a one-pager that hopefully you can print out and will be easy to understand. I will put the link in the comments. That's bit.ly/action plan cheat sheet, all lowercase. I will put that, like I said, in the comments section so that you can go to my website and get that freebie. And I hope to see you next week. Have a fantastic weekend, everybody. Take care. Bye.